my gosh, I don't want to do this episode. I don't. My stomach is turning, not my stomach itself, like as in the organ, but my solar plexus, like a pit right there beneath my xiphoid process, the solar plexus, oh gosh. It's because this episode is not for everyone. I am going to get to solar plexus and empowerment, but I'm going to talk about solar plexus pain points. So this episode is not for everyone. I don't think so, but maybe it's for you.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
So, the solar plexus, the energy center that's right in the midst of this nerve bundle between your heart and your navel, but closer to your heart, really. Where on most people, it's where the rib cage comes together and meets, right? Bundle of nerve fibers, feel a lot of emotions there. And it is power packed. It holds sacred contracts to what you've come to do in this incarnation. When I work with the solar plexus, I realize how much it shapes your sense of self. This chakra is something else, man. Whew. Oh my gosh, I don't get emotional. Can you help me not get emotional? Oh my God. If there is an area that I came into this incarnation with, that the area that is like, I think I have two places that are ripe with work for me personally. Throat chakra, which is why I speak, right? But also solar plexus. Oh my gosh. It's where things really hit you. They really hit you. They can hit you. They hit me. So a lot of things can hit you. So I'll get into that. Your sacral chakra, sorry, did I say sacral? Oh my God. See, I want to avoid it. I don't want to talk about it. It's solar plexus. Your solar plexus is this. Oh, that was spirit interjecting. Okay. Your sacral chakra houses your sacred contracts when it comes to relationships in this incarnation. But your solar plexus relates to sacred contracts that house information on who you are and what you came to do in this incarnation. Both of those kind of work together with your sacred contracts, right? This episode's all about the solar plexus, or a bit about the solar plexus. If you want to know more, you can check out my book, Soul Yoga. It really takes a deep dive, right? Oh my gosh. Can you see me? I have my right hand on my heart and my thymus, which is self-love. And my left hand is on my solar plexus. For those of you that are listening on Apple or Spotify, wow, I just need to kind of hold it together. Before I do my episodes, I always clear and ground and then surround myself with light and everything. But this one is making me a bit vulnerable. And I always head into kind of with a basic knowledge of what I'm meant to speak to and what I want to speak to. But spirit often and always interjects. And so we kind of buckle up. No clue where this is going. So, how does the solar plexus shape your sense of self? Well, it's where there is stored information about your personal power that you've kind of gathered and stored up from past lives, right? But also what you've been empowered with coming into this incarnation. And a lot of things can affect that. Numerology, astrology, your life review from the previous time to this time, all of these things, right, can affect your personal power. But predominantly, when I go into it, I realize that it's at the core, it's really about a lot of past life influence. Your solar plexus chakra also gives a sense of self, you know, your sense of self, and personal power, self, and then who you are at your core, like the talents you come in with, what you're about, what this life kind of the overall view of what this life will be in regards to what you've come to do and who you are and the abilities that you brought in here. Can you? Okay, listen, if you're watching on YouTube, I have to take my socks and shoes off in reverse order. My shoes off, then my socks. My feet are starting to sweat. This is so fascinating, right? Always so fascinating. Gosh. And if you're watching, ah, so much better. If you're watching, I have this yellow shirt on because the solar plexus, the color significance that resonates with it is yellow, right? And I'm wearing some beads, one of which is green garnet, because that's a great gemstone for your solar plexus. So it really is about personal power, self esteem, who you are, and what you came to do, right? But it can be damaged from a lot of different areas. And I am going to use that word damaged because, you're supposed to be vibrant and whole. Your chakras are supposed to be vibrant and whole. And I love the Hindu kind of reference of these lotus flowers that are open, right? But things and experiences in our life, whether past life, current life, whatever, yesterday, can affect us. And we kind of fold those petals in on ourselves sometimes when it's weakened, right? And so there's times when I've gone in and to work on people's solar plexus, or when they're about to make a career change and they're kind of unnerved or uncertain. And I'm like, listen, let's work on your solar plexus. Let's just amp this up so that you can feel empowered and dynamic and confident going forward in it, because it's what you're supposed to do, kind of stuff. But when I go into this area of anyone's being, I look for where are those petals kind of closed in, and where is there damage in a way, right? Some small or great level of damage from whatever experience. And then for me, it's about really looking deeply at the experiences to help unravel them. And if you've watched my previous content, you know that, it could be something that's just needing a little bit of energy work to balance it. Sometimes I can tell you the story that is relating there and why it happened, why the, certain effect happened in the first place. And I can tell you the story, and then there's healing, and then the chakra reverberates, the body energy centers reverberate, and it's fine. But there are other times when I have to regress people. And so in the book Soul Yoga, it actually takes you through some steps to kind of look at ancient past life. So if you're interested, be sure to get it. Leave a nice review. Totally would appreciate that. Thank you so much. It helps people know that the work is out there. Plus, I don't know if you know this, but do you know I work for free? I'm a volunteer. I don't collect a paycheck. I pay my staff out of my own pocket. How's that? Because I don't make enough on this podcast and all my stuff, because I'm giving a lot of it away for free. And I actually had this coming up for me today when I was looking at my own solar plexus to go, wow, is this a solar plexus issue? Constance, do you have self-value issues, or is this really volunteer work that you're doing freely? And I was hoping that the work could sustain itself by getting gigs or sponsors, or, just like collaborations and stuff like that, but it's not happening fast enough. So yeah, I'm looking at like, wow, my peers all charge for everything they do. Everything they do. Everything they do. And why aren't you charging, Constance? Where's your sense of self and value? So this is one of the ways that you could actually damage your own solar plexus if you don't value what it is you've come to do, to the point of what's the reciprocation, right? First rule of Reiki is you got to charge for when you're giving Reiki, because otherwise the healing doesn't hold. So there's a part of me that's really looking at this right now. How much can I still offer this as volunteer work while I pay my staff, right, to give this to you? And how many of you are stepping forward as members to support the work? Thank you so much. Those of you watching on YouTube that are becoming members or giving gifts, stuff like that. This helps. It helps pay my phone bill so I can record on my iPhone. But it's really funny. You would not believe the volume of the cost for this content for free. And I think I don't stand alone. I think a lot of content creators that gift out their knowledge for free know what I'm talking about. And my heart goes out to you. So yeah, God bless the volunteer people, right? Of which I'm one. You wouldn't know it, but I am. So hopefully I can get some teaching gigs and speaking gigs, and people buy the book, and I can maybe collect a paycheck after these 3 years of working wholeheartedly. So this is one of the ways we can take a step at our own self-worth. This solar plexus, right, is not charge, for our time, talent, treasure, if we're realizing that this is not meant to be volunteer work. It would be beautiful if our passion and what we would want to do for free and what we can do for free and what we can afford to do for free would all overlap, and the universe would support that. But when there's, areas that you actually can only volunteer a little, and then you have to work a day job to make ends meet, pay the bills, whatever, you have to do that accordingly. And so I think one of the things that I know is that the world functions so much with volunteers. So a shout out to those of you that volunteer and are capable of volunteering. I have family members that work full-time jobs and volunteer on the outside. I was doing the same, pitching in whatever, because we need volunteers. So I adore that, right? And I love the karmic pile up, right? Or the selfless service where you get nothing back and give, give, give. And I just sometimes want people to kind of realize when hugs are enough payback, or when just that joy of giving, or they've been blessed with so much they want to give. I definitely encourage that, because we need that in the world. We need so many volunteer areas, we just do, because not everything we do can earn a paycheck, right? And I want to appreciate those of you that do volunteer in whatever millions of ways that you give selfless service. I really, really appreciate you. What I'm saying about my work is, to sustain this podcast and these teachings, I've got to generate income on another level, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to afford it much longer. So that's just a hello, there's that. And then, like I said, I had to go, all right, Constance, you've got to use your own soul yoga work to look at what's going on in your solar plexus. And is it okay? And what are you willing to gift, and what are you needing to charge for? And so this is the same to you, is if you're looking at your life and you're crying poor, but you're realizing you've got these raw buried talents that you're not tapping into for whatever, and you're stuck in the same old job, not willing to give yourself a chance, I beg you to look at that, because there's a reason the universe wants to offer abundance, right? And sometimes it means we have to put ourselves out there and step up and do this other level of work, and the universe will come back and provide. Listen, I just know this is going to happen anyway, because I've got other stuff going on in my world, so I know it's going to happen for me. But I'm just saying, for you, if this resonates and there just seems to be this imbalance and you're feeling like what's going on, maybe, in regards to sense of value, look at your solar plexus. So your solar plexus, the energy, vibrancy, can be compromised, maybe by past life situations where you were wounded in your solar plexus. Self-esteem took a hit, right? It could be compromised from family legacy. Maybe you've been raised in a way that doesn't allow you to have a vibrant sense of self value, worth, and who you are. It could be a family legacy. Like, it could just be repeat patterns that you're dealing with. It could be damaged or mucked up from any kind of trauma, right? When I've worked with people, I've found trauma stored in the solar plexus that is affecting their sense of self-esteem and their sense of self-worth. It doesn't matter if the trauma was mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, sexual. Yes, those areas will wreak havoc in those specific, or those themes will wreak havoc in those specific energy centers. Like when you've been mentally traumatized in relationship, or bad boss, or whatever, right? Family member, whatever, mate, whatever, yourself, beating yourself up. That'll usually pick up like in the head, in the mental aspects of the brow chakra, but secondarily, it will hit in your solar plexus. Same with sexual trauma. I'll pick up the scars and the energetic discombobulation in the sacral chakra, which has to do with sexual issues, but secondarily, I will pick it up in the solar plexus. And so this ripple effect of mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, sexual trauma will get recorded in your solar plexus, I found. So what happens is you get this diminished sense of inner authority, standing up for yourself, being able to show up for yourself, feeling what you're feeling. All of these get compromised, right? And so the cost of living without this inner authority is vast. Oh, geez, Louise, full body chills. I need a minute. Just, ooh wee. Wow. Wow. I'm going to repeat that then. This hits home. The cost of living without that inner authority is vast. You end up, maybe, right? Not all of these, but maybe some of these, you end up developing this or having this lack of boundaries, personal boundaries. Maybe you overwork. Maybe you do too much. Maybe you don't even know you can actually set boundaries and limits and live by them. Maybe you're unsure of your value, right? Like, I know my work is valuable and I probably should be charging. And it was a conscious decision in the beginning of this podcast not to charge because I thought there would be more members. I thought there would be more subscribers. Listen, I got a lot of subscribers. Thank you so much, members. Thank you so much, subscribers. Love, love. And now I'm getting these influx of people saying, do you want to try our product and share with your followers about our product? So that's cool. I mean, I know the universe has this trajectory and I want to offer as much free content as I can, but I have to sit there and go, is it that I'm unsure of my value? I know my work is valuable. I know what I know is valuable. I haven't even begun to open up the treasure trove of stuff that I could share with you. But this is what can happen if you don't look deeply enough at what's happening in your solar plexus. And the thing is the solar plexus, when you begin to look, it's like layers of an onion. This is why I say, the Soul Yoga book, you could turn to this annually on your birthday. And then the 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 journal, the Soul Yoga Companion Journal, you could have one for each year it's because we're like layers of an onion, and you look one year and then you reveal other layers, right? And so, woo, so the fact that when I was looking at my solar plexus and up popped this feeling of like, wow, am I actually not valuing what I'm gifting out or doing? Like, does this have to do with a self-esteem issue, Constance? Like, I'm rock solid on knowing I have great value and worth. It's not that. That I know. I know what I've come to do. But by not charging for some of it at least, that's something to look at, right? Especially because I can't afford to do that. I'm not getting a paycheck, so it's like I can't afford to do it much longer, right? So, it's probably why it's forcing me to teach. So maybe that's the universe's way of saying, listen, we always wanted you to teach. We always wanted you on stages. So you're not going to have this happen in a way. Money isn't going to fall from the heavens, Constance. You have to step out on stage in greater ways than you have in the past. And so this is this relationship, right, with the solar plexus. If what you've come to do, you're on the path of what you've come to do, but you're not quite there yet, don't give up because things aren't working out. It's because you're supposed to look deeper and say, what more am I to do? Which seems insane, right? But it is that. It's like, oh, just tweak it this way, tweak it that way. And then you're supposed, you'll be earmarked for the success that you know is meant to come, or you crave or desire or need to sustain the work or your staff or all of these things. So, you know what? When I told Spirit, listen, I'm going to talk about solar plexus, but do not make me talk about my own life. They were like, okay. I'm like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy. But they're using my example to show you could be in the right path of your work, but you're just not on the conveyor belt that you could be on. Like if you feel like you're slogging along and you're missing something, dive deep into the solar plexus and say, what am I missing? Am I supposed to be taking this other greater step? Am I playing small, like large fish in a small pond? Or am I trying to play, small fish in a big pond? Did I say that right? I don't even care. You know what I mean? I love you for knowing what I mean. I love you. When I was young, I always wished I had come into this incarnation with an owner's manual for my life. What I didn't realize is that I did have one. I had one. You have one too. I think we spend so much of our time trying to figure out our lives, and most of us don't realize we already have this owner's manual, this map, a map that guides us through and into our fullest potential. This is why I wrote my collection, Soul Yoga. I offer you a book using your 12 chakras as a map to reaching your highest potential, a Soul Yoga companion journal documenting your 12 chakra journey, and Soul Yoga inspiration cards for your soul whisperings of your 12 chakras. Because your chakras aren't just energy centers, they are repositories of soul information, your wisdom, your soul memories, vows, promises you made to yourself prior to this incarnation. And in Soul Yoga, I walk you through your 12 chakras from your earth chakra to your divine chakra to help you unravel, uncover, and chart your journey. This book, companion journal, and inspiration card deck are to promote and guide you to your fullest potential. This collection is not about finding yourself. It's about remembering who you are and why you're here. To get your copy of any of these, visit my shop at my website, constancemessmer.com. Okay, so let's go back to the cost of living without this inner authority. Lack of boundaries, unsure of your value, diminished self-worth, which goes hand in hand, right? You start to not believing you're valuable enough, or you're not like capable, or you're not worthy, and then when things come in, you're like, I'm not good enough, or I can't possibly, you know, be in, whatever. You couldn't possibly want my stuff, or whatever it is, whatever your story is. You can start to be defined by others because you haven't defined yourself. You haven't sat with yourself and your solar plexus and your power, self-esteem, who you are, what you came to do, long enough to know who you are and what you're capable of, and trusting the heavens that that's what you're supposed to do. The fake it till you make it. Because sometimes when you know the mission that you're supposed to do, and then you're like, okay, guides and angels, give me the signs or help me. And then you get the signs, and then you're like, okay, cosmic all, if it's meant to be, bring it on, keep me clear, keep my ego out of it, bring it on, and make sure I take these, whatever step you want me to take. I'll follow the breadcrumbs, just lay them out before me. Let me use my 11 soul senses to see and hear and feel and know, touch the breadcrumbs so that I know I'm heading in the right direction. Because it's co-creation, right? In my opinion, manifesting is co-creation. Hello? Mostly. Sometimes it's not. Those are rare instances, or some instances. So otherwise, I think you put the request out to the universe, and then you have to follow the steps. So I promise I'll write that Mesmer on Manifesting book. I think sometimes when we lose our inner authority, we all of a sudden let other people define us because we haven't defined ourselves. So, and in that, we can also be people pleasers, right? We don't want to upset anyone else because maybe we'll be, the love will be taken away, or we want to prove our self-worth and be valued by how much we give, or how much we're amenable, or how much we kowtow, or all of these things. And so we don't stand up for ourselves. So see how solar plexus can also be linked to the earth and root chakra, which is about standing your own ground, standing up for yourself, being, solid and stoic. So there's this beautiful interrelationship between solar plexus and earth chakra, which is survival. Why are you here? What keeps you tied to this life is definitely chills, goosebumps, part of who you are and what you came to do. It is. It's fulfilling life. So you see how powerful the solar plexus is. You guys, you're hugging me so much. The angels are like hugging me with all these goosebumps. I can't even tell you. I'm going to try not to cry. I'm going to get a drink. So sometimes then when we don't have this inner agency or inner authority, we might stay too long in relationships, whether they're work environments, significant other, kind of staying in a place where we really don't want to be. Pay attention to that. Don't stay in a place where you don't really want to be. Troubleshoot why you want out, right? This is the solar plexus is all these nerve fibers and feelings that register there, psychic feelings, physical feelings. It's a great um, monitoring device for right and wrong for you and your purpose and your power, right? And so that's important. So sometimes we stay too long in places we don't want to be in, right? And so the spirit's talking to me and telling me to include this other piece, and I'm arguing with them. We'll see who wins. Right now I'm winning. So but what can come of all of this, of the cost of living without your inner authority or your inner agency intact, is that you can then create inner turmoil because there's this major disconnect of who you are, what you came to do, what you're capable of. You diminish, you have had these experiences that kind of close you in on yourself, and then it's difficult to kind of find yourself in that. And so depression can result, anxiety can result, physical ailments can result. Soul yoga has a whole list of physical ailments that might happen, gallbladder, issues, all of these things. I've got a reference in soul yoga. Want to remind you, not a doctor, not a nurse, not a medical professional. I'm just saying what I've picked up on clients that have come to me and classes that I've taught with students, right? And whether they're at a distance, remote, or in physical, in person. So I just wanted to gift you with a list because I just think it's an interesting reference. Yeah, it's just kind of, remember Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life? Yeah, that's interesting. That was a real shout out. Hi, Louise Hay. Do you know why I think she's around? Because I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a Hay House author. I think I might want to be a Sounds True author. I think I do. I don't- I think maybe that's what I'd like to do. Aim towards Sounds True. We'll see what the universe has in store. But I love that I'm like aiming in those directions, right? You got to name it to claim it. You have to name what it is you want to have. Ask the universe. Put it out there. I just want it. I don't want to self-publish the next book. That's what I want. So, although it's been nice to self-publish so I can go in and change things, right? This is a lot of interesting stuff, and then I can add extras or whatever. That I do love. I digress. Spirit saying, not really. Someone needed to hear that. Okay. Okay. Oh, and they're also saying there's something, you take a chance when you self-publish or go indie but you retain your power, right? Nobody gets to tell you to do any edits you don't want to do. So I think I know some of you have your own book and you want to write it and you're like, I don't want anybody to make changes. I don't want any editors that will tell me to revise this in any way. So, the beautiful thing of now is that we have all these platforms to get your work out there. And so the same is true when you decide to do your own business. You could work for somebody else, especially in the healing arts. You could work under someone else's umbrella, or you can create your own, right? Create your own, whether for yourself or countless others. And I know some of you have written to me asking, like, I really want to start like a conglomeration of healing practices under one roof in my area and allow space and shared space for practitioners, and bully for you. This too, oh, chills, not only empowers you if you've got that calling, the angel wings are like around me, but you're empowering others. So it's about, you're building them up. Kind of also what I'm doing for you, right? I started this podcast to empower you and to raise consciousness on the planet. So I'm not going to lose the faith. I really am not. I know things are going to work out there, and I'm building this business so that they will. And the universe, I just have to show up, right? We just have to show up and do the work. So you who wants to maybe support healing modalities without being necessarily a healer yourself, but you believe in the vibrational frequency shift of allowing a space for readers, astrologers, healers, whatever it is, but your finesse is business management or location or all of it. Do it, do it, do it, do it. I think there's this really cool thing that happens when we allow ourselves to just really shine in the area that we shine, right? Um, because then we're really in a way kind of aiding our solar plexus, where we're recognizing things aren't going how we maybe want them to be, or they're not good enough. Like sometimes I remember, I love my mother. I love my mother. I do love you, Mom. So, but sometimes through my life, she said, well, why isn't it just good enough? And I think it's probably my Virgo moon that sometimes I definitely push myself and I think I can do more than I actually am capable of. But when I think, but I want all these things to happen, I just have to get my dry erase board and write the steps. Like, what are the steps? I'm going to pray. What are the steps I need to take to accomplish this goal? That's very solar plexus. So solar plexus solar comes from the word, what does that mean? Sun comes from the word sun, soul, sun, light. If you shine a light, because it's supposed to be vibrant, this solar plexus, but if you shine a light on your troubles there, just like in any chakra, right? Take this look. And I even use that as a reference in soul yoga. It's about shining flashlights at these shining your flashlight on these chakras to take a deep look, to kind of splunk and figure out what's going on there. And once you start bringing to light the troubles and turmoils and the times that you've kind of caved in on yourself, then you can start to recognize, who do you really want to be? You can't be who you want to be if you're still wrapped up in who you don't want to be, right? So you need to stop being who you're not and start being who you are. Let that sink in. The solution to this work of deep diving into the solar plexus and repair work, sometimes it's just recognizing, right? I have a few different ways in soul yoga. I offer clearing techniques for each of the chakras when you find imbalances. I offer meditations, visualizations, prompt questions in both the book and the journal too. The prompts are in both book and journal to help you kind of navigate what you might find in those spaces or how you might look deeper. And so when you start doing this, when you shine your flashlight on there and you start doing it, you can get a better grip at what's not working and what you want to have work. So part of the way you can really help your solar plexus today, now, right now, is to start allowing yourself to feel your feelings. Allow yourself to oh my God, more hugs. Ah, hugs from the angels. Is to allow yourself to recognize when you're feeling out of sorts, you're letting yourself down, or when others have let you down, and, taking a minute and what do you want to do about it? What do you want to do about it? When I was young and I would complain, my dad would say, well, whose fault is that? And for the longest time, did I tell you this? For the longest time, I hated that because I was like, well, it's not my fault. Then I got old enough to know it is my fault. What are you going to do about it, basically, was what he was saying. What are you going to do about it? Don't just complain. Do something. Yes, complain, because it gets you to air the feelings out, air your dirty laundry out, just even in your mind. Go for a walk and talk, or write it out in your journal. Like, this is what's not working. What do I want to do to have it start working? What can I do? Where do I need to get outside help? Therapist, friend, whatever, support group, rah, 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 change of career, write my new resume, rethink this relationship kind of stuff, create boundaries. Your feelings are going to be your first method of discovery, right? Well, looking actually, but feeling your feelings. That's the thing you can do now and today. Just start feeling your truth, man. Your feeling and your truth, your feelings and your truth are so linked. It helps you uncover who you are and who you are. So the other thing is to notice all with your use of your 11 soul senses. Notice the clear sensation moments, right? Notice as an empath, especially when you're having interaction or you're thinking about a project or thinking about doing something, how does it hit you vibrationally as clear sensation? The physical feeling where like me, or the angels are giving me goosebumps and hugging me up. But when I started this episode, it was like, I don't want to say sour stomach, but it was this pit at my solar plexus that was just like really, stabbing harsh. It's not there anymore, right? Because the vibration of the light that I brought forward in this, but noticing those things, but honoring those things. Like in the beginning, I was like, did I say it out loud? I don't know that I want to tell this, right? I don't know that I want to go there. Here, it's not comfortable. It's a lot of pain points. But in the end, we'll flip it to the other side. I always am about look at the shit, but let's flip it. Like it's the shit is there to tell you, like, this is not comfortable. This is not easy. And what can be done? Can something be done? Now, sometimes I hate to admit this for myself, but for clients too, sometimes I'm like, what comes in is not what I think at all. It's like, oh, listen, you need to get your astrology done because you're in this period of tumultuous upheaval and the shit is flying. Things are hard right now and there's no way out. You just have to keep barreling down one day at a time, move through it. And the serenity prayer, right? God, give me the grace to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? So it's this whole awareness of like, sometimes we go through these dark nights of the soul or these tough times because we're supposed to come out the other end and go, well, what was that about? Or while you're in it, what's this about? What's not working, to help release some pressure valve. I know for myself, we've got a lot going on. I'm recording this in 2026 in the spring, and I'm like revamping my website. We're putting a new merch store together. So I've got to do a photo shoot because I look a little different than the last photo shoot. A lot different. Yeah. So, I have a lot going on. Plus, I want to, more purposefully launch soul yoga. The cards aren't available yet. They're not going to be available till July, probably. Bums me out. We can't get them in the shop yet because we're revamping the shop. It's a lot right now. It's a lot. Family stuff, family dynamic, personal, and I'm thinking ahead after these 12 weeks of soul yoga episodes. I've got some classes I want to offer you, mentorship. I want to see you. I want to Zoom with you. And so, I got to charge for those because it's going to be extra time and everything, but it'll be worth it. But beyond that, what's the next phase of my work supposed to be while I'm also writing this other book that's happening? So I don't rest on my laurels. Like for a girl that collects no paycheck, I work my ass off. So, but what I'm saying is if I don't watch it, I can get overwhelmed. So I use my dry erase board. Do what works for you. I have a little, I think it's, I don't know that it's ADD or whatever. I think it's more like just creative genius. I get flooded with ideas. I have my goals. I have spirit's goals. I have my soul goals. You could go into your solar plexus and say, what did I promise to do in this incarnation? Close your eyes, put your hands on your solar plexus right there beneath, your breastbone or whatever, and say, what did I promise to do in this lifetime? As a career, as a passion, as a work of service, who am I? All of these things, right? And I think for me, when you're a little bit all over the place like me, you got to pull in the help. This is why I have a team to help me. But I also need to line it up on my dry erase board or my chalkboard or my butcher paper and say, okay, what are the steps? Otherwise, I'll get overwhelmed. And it just so happens everything's happening at once right now. It just is, because it just is. It's just the way it is. All of that, let alone what's going on the planet right now. I mean, let alone, I'm sure we're all praying for everything and everyone because there's a lot happening astrologically and a lot happening environmentally, politically, societal, everything, right? So I know you can relate, but what I'm saying is it's not an impossible task. So remember when I said solar plexus is connected to the earth chakra? Solar plexus chakra, earth chakra. Survival on the planet, not losing your ground, claiming your power, and knowing that if you have a big laundry list of to-dos you want to do, break it down to create the steps so you're not overwhelmed. And sometimes when you look at that I literally, I do have a dry erase board in my office. I should bring you in there one day. And I have a chalkboard. We painted the walls with dry erase and then also chalk. I have to put the steps down because then revisiting them, I'm like, do I really want to do that? Like, is that something that's really still holding and making my heart hum? Does it make my soul sing? Does it make me want to get up in the morning for? And I love the angels. They're saying, thanks for saying this. I'm telling you, this is for you. Do what makes you happy because that happy vibration vibrates out, right? So if something is not making you happy, pay attention to that and say what needs to change. Listen, I have some areas of my life that don't make me happy and they're hard, but they are fulfilling. And some of them, I'm the only one that can do them, right? You know, I am, whatever. Listen, I would love, I would love a private chef. I would love a laundry person. I'll do the dishes. But guess what? If you want to eat, Constance, you got to make some food. So, there's some things that are non-negotiable. But you know what I'm saying? If it's your real career path or your passion or your heart's desire, your heart is, we're going to talk about the heart chakra next, but it's, of course, right by the solar plexus, right? So it's your heart's desire that affects what you're passionate about and your truth and your soul's trajectory and what you're here for. You got one life, right? And now my dad gave me the benefit of, he changed his careers a lot. They all happen to be like with money and helping people, either money loaning or getting houses, stuff like this, or value. So he was always, they had to do with numbers. He was a very good one with numbers. But him changing his career in life, and even my mother too, the various careers and volunteer. Geez, did she ever volunteer? Thanks, Mom and Dad. Taught me that I can redefine myself every step of the way at any point. Heck, I didn't start podcasting till I was late 50s. Was it late 50s? Yeah, I think it was late 50s, right? I started my career late 20s and then did this for quite a while and then redefined as mom and volunteer and worked in the ethers with spirit. And then, and then came back to teaching and speaking and doing reads and stuff. And then recently said, no, I need to close that section off because I need to get this work out on a grander scale because I know so much. I just can't keep teaching circles of 10 people. Like, what? That's selfish. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. If you're supposed to do bigger work, do bigger work. If you're like supposed to do little small work with big ripples, like, I don't know, Mother Teresa comes to mind. I'll just go to Calcutta, work in here. Massive shift, right? You never know. Follow your heart and it will work out. I just believe this and know this. So the biggest thing is paying attention to your feelings, noticing your clair sensation, noticing when things ruffle your feathers, don't suit you. They probably don't suit you because they don't suit you. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason. And so, spending time with yourself in contemplation to look and revise. Look and revise. What needs to change for you to get back to your happy center? That's really solar plexus. Look, yellow is bright, cheery, happy center, happy center. Happy center. So what happens then when you start doing that? What happens when the solar plexus activates, opens up those lotus flower petals, right? Open up and you're this vibrant, magnanimous self. I have to tell you, there is a bit of this. I've seen it on my table. Because the solar plexus is so central, there's this reverberation that can do a number of healing on all the other chakras. I've seen it just like open and heal and then spread and ripple throughout the body. Powerful. Powerful to visually, psychically see, clairvoyantly. Amazing. Also, when the solar plexus activates in this way, there's this ripple effect out to your auric field that then reverberates and carries with you through life so that it affects change in those you pass by and meet because you are alive. You are your authentic self, right? You're just reverberating this sense of power, personal power, self-esteem, who you are, what you came to do. And in doing that, remember the Marianne Williamson quote about, who are you not to be? You are powerful beyond your knowing. And the universe and God just wants to show you and prove it to you. But you have to step into that power by choosing and doing who you are and what you came to do. Now, some of you were like, I don't know what I'm meant to do. I don't know what my talents are. Well, what do you like doing? I know a young listener who's an avid reader. And I'm like, girl, maybe you could be a paid beta reader. Maybe you could, go into writing book reviews. What about working at a library? There's, search up. What can I do as someone who likes to read? You know, I one of the volunteer things that I did is I would read the children's books at the children's library for an hour each Saturday. Loved that. That was volunteer, right? That was so nice. Sometimes people are lucky enough that what they would want to do as a hobby or a passion and a career can all overlap. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But I also know there's people in life that they'll do a job to get the bills paid and then, coach on the side or whatever it is so they can get the bills paid in one way and it's fine enough because their joy they can find outside of that. And you got to do what works for you. You got to do what works for you. Because I know some people that they really just like quiet work. I know a delivery truck driver that's his jam. He can listen to podcasts. Hey, you know who you are, while he's driving along and delivering things and brightening people's days. There's so many jobs on the planet. We need all of you. We need all of the jobs, right? All of the jobs. So find your happy place. So the solar plexus is probably sometimes it's where I start when I do healing work. Like I'll scan, knocked my glasses. I'll scan the auric field of the person and I'll either clairvoyantly see where to begin or I'll sense with my hands with clairsensation, right? Or I'll just know empathically. I'll feel in my body where to start. I'll feel in my body what they're feeling in their body, knowing, using that, my body as a radar, as an empath, to figure out where should I start. So for those of you that are doing healing work, maybe you do any of these techniques also, but oftentimes I find where traditionally Reiki might start from one end of the body to the other, sometimes it's helpful to balance the solar plexus first, because in doing so, everything ripples out. So I'm asking spirit, I'm like, should I have started with the solar plexus on this 12 chakra journey? They're like, no, Constance, you never would have, because you like things orderly. I do like things orderly. I do like things orderly. So I'm glad you stayed with me. Those are definitely, I just think it's a plethora of information stored in the solar plexus, whether from past lives or this life. But also, believe it or not, you can see future potential. You can especially see it if you spend time with your solar plexus. And if you're a healer or energy worker, if you spend time on someone else's, a lot of times it will reveal what they've come to do, right? What you've come to do. Spend some time with your solar plexus. Spend some time with your solar plexus. It's cool. I think it's your center of gravity, really. So, all right. I think you're authentically beautiful. And I love that you've taken so much time out of your day to share with me. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already, click subscribe and like and follow, right? I would appreciate that because I'd love to see you again in these spaces. I'm glad we're on this journey together. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for tuning in.